Literally, I was in a fucking actual brawl with security, and these motherfuckers didn't even notice. They started the song. I wasn't even on stage. I was literally downstage.
Shit felt
fighting,
so good.
and
felt so good.
Dude, they're rocking out. This is fucking great. And I'm fighting security. And I somehow made it for the first line. Then security gets on stage, and they're still playing. And I'm like, you need to get the fuck off the stage.
Idobi Warped Radio.
Well, Let Live, we're here at Idobi Radio. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
You just played Homeless Jazz, which quite a deep cut from Fake History to start off with. And for me, brings so many memories to hear that song. And I have to wonder, being away from the band, it's been 8 years from your reunion to your last show. I feel like there must be a change in perspective for you as you're revisiting these songs. If I'm feeling this amount of nostalgia, what is it like for you? So how are you feeling?
I know you want to talk about this shit.
I don't even know. I'm kind of speechless, actually. Yeah, I think all of this...
Talk about it!
All of this is a bit it's surreal.
Yeah.
It's definitely a surreal experience to be able to do this, but we're also very grateful and I think we're very lucky to be able to still be doing what we're doing and sharing it with friends and reconnecting and being able to experience this in a whole new light.
Yeah.
I want to say that there is a level of nostalgia that is nearly overwhelming, but mostly just pretty beautiful, because like having you interview us is insane, right? Like to be doing this, to be, you know, I guess a quasi return or whatever we're doing now as a band, but having you here and then also being able to witness your journey alongside like our own. As we stepped away, you just ascended. It's just, I don't know, man. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think that we've all created our own soundtracks, not even sonically, but being in each other's lives, you know, especially you and I, we've been staying in contact for so long that it's, I think that's the most incredible thing that I get to see now, stepping back on stage with this project, is remembering what it was and seeing what it is now. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, there is something to be said that we've all, in our own ways, I'm sure, lived a lot of life in this span when you guys did take your break. And when you live a lot of life and have distance from something, you're able to see it from a different perspective. And Let Live, I mean, what a whirlwind those years were back then. And I feel like when you're in a whirlwind like that, you don't really get to process it fully. So do you feel like the space you took gave you a new perspective now?
Yeah,
yes.
100%. We talk about that all the time. Even the last tour that we were on, we spent a lot of time reflecting on that, and like what, even just the decisions we make and how we go about things now is like a completely different. We have different perspectives on everything, and our approach is much more. It's different. It's very different, and we laugh at the decisions that we made when we were younger. And I mean, granted that we were in a certain era of our life at that time, and we did the things we wanted to, and when we were in that space. But now, just being able to personally, even taking a step back from it for a while and reflecting, and coming back and learning to really gracefully appreciate all of the opportunities and everything that we have today is very. I say it again, like, very, very lucky to be here. And I think I learned personally to not take things for granted, and you know, put a lot of weight on the impact that this band had in everything that we did. Sometimes you don't really. It's so fast it's fast moving. It moves so quickly, and it all felt like 2 minutes. And they kind of sit back and have a realization of how much work we've done and how many lives we've impacted, and even for ourselves, like impacting our own lives. And it's a really wonderful thing to be here and be able to look back and see the things that we've done. And
yeah, I mean, this isn't just a band; it really is a movement. And I feel emotional even thinking about the way you've been able to impact fans, in the way you've opened our perspectives, opened our minds, and kind of let us into your world. Has it been emotional to even reconnect with your fans at the shows, to meet them and have those interactions? Because it seems like just so much gratitude.
Yeah, my hair's sticking up.
Yeah, I mean, just this past tour, just seeing all the fans coming out and you know, sold out shows, and then just seeing so many faces we saw like 10 years ago back again, and people have kids now and they're all grown up, so it's a magical thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I found it pretty reaffirming in the sense of how being in art and an artist, you really need to find every opportunity you can to be humble and humbled and grateful. And I remember when I first, started this idea of Let Live in high school when we were kids, and I really wanted to make sure that it was a space that went beyond myself, and I wanted to hopefully act as some sort of like emotional ambassador at best, and to see how people took this idea of Let Live and made it theirs and made it for the people is just such an incredible thing. And if there's anything that we can sort of like hang our hat on, I think it would be that it was never about us, and it continued without us. I think that was the most amazing thing to see that. So we just get to return to what the people created for Let Live, yeah.
And we're gonna dive into some more of these ideas in a little bit, but I also want to go back to the moment when you first got back in a room together to rehearse for the first time in this reunion. What emotions were running through your minds, and which songs do you feel you had the most visceral reaction to when you played them for the first time?
I think the first song we played was Renegade. I personally had all of the microphones muted because it was so hard for me to focus on anything technical whatsoever. But I don't think it mattered so much. It was watching him walk into the room and just that first hug and that initial... I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how to explain what that felt like. And we just played. And I don't remember what it sounded like. If I can be so honest with you, I probably sounded, I don't know.
Sick. It sounded sick. It sounded so good.
It's so organic.
But I think just being in that moment together, and the adrenaline and nervousness actually, and excitement and focus, and just, it was a real magical moment, I think.
Why do you think it was so overwhelming for you?
I think because you lived without something you loved for so long, and you craved it for such a long time. And then it just, of course, we had conversations and dinners and meetings and whatnot. And then just being in, it just became a reality, and it was in front of your face, and again, hairs stick out like when I speak about it. It's just an uncontrollable thing you try to balance, and you can't. It takes over everything, every emotion, every aspect of you. And you just play, and your body and your soul just goes into autopilot, and you just perform. And you don't know how it's being done or what's happening around you, but you know that you're present in that moment. And I think for me personally, it was one of the first times I actually absorbed my minutes. I mean, we were just talking about that earlier, of not being present. I know that I struggle with that a lot. My brain is always in another. I don't really celebrate my accomplishments currently. I'm always in the, okay, I did it, cool, what's next? And I think that was the first time for me in many years where I was present and I wasn't anywhere else, and I'm really grateful for that.
And when you've done it for so many years prior, you have your way, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to return to that. What you just said, Tori, actually, is to be able to arrive back in a place that you, I guess, in a linear sense, left 8 years ago, and to arrive back at it instantaneously, I think is a testament to what it meant to you. And also I do think that the perennial and, dare I say, timeless nature of the art that we created. And I think that, and I don't, by no means do I mean that everyone else should think that, but I think that when you create something that you mean honestly, that is a sustainable piece of art, and it's also a sustainable energy that can continue on. And I think that we got really lucky with that, because all we did was what we wanted to do at the time as far as art was concerned. And so to be able to come back to that was pretty amazing, and again, really grateful. And then me personally, I mean, I really understood just how I used to be perceived as a pretty like aggressive or wild person, angry, but I really just realized how sad I was, to be completely honest. Like, that's what I realized. I was like, oh, you were just identifying or misidentifying your sadness and calling it anger, so I think it was kind of a beautiful way to come so comfortably with especially these two and the other guys we have in the band too, Sage and Skylar, who have joined us on the live set. Like, it's I feel really grateful for that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much impact there because you're coming from a different emotional lens, and yet the music is timeless still in the way that you're able to resonate with it. And I so relate to what you're saying too, of not having something for so long and then getting that back. When I saw you all at DC Warped, as soon as I heard you yell and stand up from the stage, I felt like I was transported right back, and it was beautiful. So I think it's circular in the way that we all feel this.
That's cool.
And I think one of the strongest assets to all this is that we get to do it together.
Yeah.
There's countless amounts of musicians and sessions and tours and shows, and you always kind of subconsciously kind of miss your boys and your family. And we've known each other since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And that kind of chemistry sometimes is not very replaceable, in a sense. And we got on stage for the first time, and it's like no time passed at all. That was the easiest thing in the world, and no care, no worry. We just wanted to play. Yeah.
I imagine coming back into this, I know, Jason, you had Fever, but even still, Let Live is a completely different live experience.
Yeah.
What preparation goes into that part of the comeback? This takes agility. It takes stamina. What was that like getting back into it?
We did meditate.
Oh.
Remember that?
You taught me how to meditate.
Meditate. We did breath work.
It was one of the first times we hung out, actually, all three of us, right?
Yeah, look, I am on some woo-woo shit. And the boys, we got together, and I was like, look, this is what I'm on. I just want you to be aware, and I would love for you to experience it. So that's what we did. But I in all seriousness, I think it was kind of cool, again, to rid ourselves of at least like the material identity of whatever music or social media or expectation or whatever these constructs are. And I know this sounds, just stay with me. And I think that when you take an opportunity to eliminate those things and highlight energy, whatever that may be, whether that be in art, in a conversation, that could be in making love, it could be in fighting, like whatever you're doing is like, when you highlight an energy, you're able to communicate on a completely different wavelength. And I believe that wavelength is superior to all others. Not the physical, not people, but the idea of communicating on this energy that is beyond physical or sonic language, but an energetic level. So that being said, that's how we prepared in the beginning, and then we made sure that we got the most expensive drum set you could ever get, really rare, vintage, actually belonged to somebody's great grandfather who was in World War Zero,
yeah.
And I made sure to deliberately destroy that drum set. I made sure to desecrate it, to dishonor it. I just really made sure that was what I was going to do for the world to see, and how to perceive me. So to those upset, I understand. That was the point, and it's a social experiment. And to the drum set, to the single tom, fuck you. I hope I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
I appreciate the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
You are present in the demolition.
That's correct.
Yes.
Energetically, of course.
Energetically present while you demolish.
Transference of energy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about this strategy of meditation before chaos, though, because I do think that is part of the reason you all are timeless, why I've been able to resonate so deeply with what you do, is because there's such authenticity and care and presence going into what you do. I don't know. Just an observation.
Thank you, Tori.
Thank you.
That's it, right? I do think again, live performance and again, congregating under the umbrella of music and art is meditative in and of itself, right? It requires you to be present. Well, I don't know. I guess we have phones now, but back in my day, it required you to be present and to involve yourself amongst others in something that goes, again, beyond anything we could do as individuals, right? We have to share this thing. So I think it's meditative inherently.
And I can even, putting myself in your shoes, if I was like climbing a stage, scaling a stage, or if I'm in the crowd jumping in, you have to be so present to be reactive,
Correct.
to be able to do that with accuracy,
Correct.
not hurt yourself.
That's right.
So that actually makes a lot of sense.
There we go. I like where we're going with this. I like where we're going with this.
So how much then of the live show happens in the present moment, and how much of it is premeditated?
I cannot stand premeditated spontaneity. I know that's a complete oxymoron.
Oxymoron, yeah.
But I just can't do it. And I don't mean anybody else. Do your thing. I actually no, I really do. I really mean it. I swear. I that sounds like I'm like trying to side bust on somebody. I'm not. I'm not. You do you. Like, that's cool. For me personally, what I mean by I can't stand it is that I know in my heart, if I think about something prior, I then think about what it's going to look like. And then when I think about what it's going to, and then I get the reaction, then the reaction is because I want to be seen. And it's so egoic to me, again, like, I love choreography. Even Katy Perry, do your thing on the, I guess everyone's upset about her show in Las Vegas because whatever, but she's doing her thing too. The point is for me, I cannot sit there and feign spontaneity, pretend, I didn't know that was there, and I also think, again, we can just keep returning. I think this is going to be the synchronistic theme of this interview is energy. Like, people will know. People will know. And again, I don't have to say anything. They can feel it and experience it. So, and I'm not just saying this, like, literally none of it. There are times I'll walk into a venue and be like, oh, and like I have to, like, even today, right? I was looking around, I was like, and I saw the ladder. I was like, don't just stop. And
you love to plot then.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to though. That's the thing, is I'm looking and I'm like, oh, and then stop, turn it away. So
The brightest thing in the room.
Exactly. But you gotta let yourself experience again, be present and just allow for that thing to speak to you or not.
And so you two as well, obviously, also have to be present for Jason's antics and also be reactive. So what is that like for you guys when you're on stage to kind of go with the flow of it all?
I'm just kind of like in the flow state. I'm not really, honestly, I don't really pay attention to it.
Nigga don't care about me.
You're over it.
He said, I don't care about this motherfucker.
You're like, seeing it. What's he climbing today?
You feel me? There are fucking photos of me like, wah! And you're literally just the most zen motherfucker on the guitar, huh?
I feel like it's just like we've been, together for so long. Like, it's just like it feels.
He's bored.
Jason,
like,
step it up.
He's like, come on. Oh, he's gonna climb something naked again.
Cool, dude.
Okay.
Sometimes
What else is new?
You feel me?
Sometimes I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like it's just like it just flows. Like, the show just flows, and I don't like. It's just the vibe,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, go ahead.
No, that's all good.
No, that's all you.
Oh my God. No, I don't think anything's premeditated at all. Contractually, we're not allowed to do things like that. I think the stage ultimately delivers exclusive experiences for all of us, and I think we're all kind of checked into our own sense of like reality, whatever defines what that is. And then when the show's over, it's usually like that 5-minute come down after the performance is over, and you really don't recognize a lot of the things that happen. I think it's such a natural chain of events, and sometimes when I look over and this guy is just losing it or I'm losing it, whatever, and I think it's the trade-off of the energy, and sometimes it could be that, or it could be some of the saddest and most emotional aspects of like our live show as well. We really have no idea what to ever expect when we go on stage, and when we get off, we just we see the videos or the highlights. It's like, holy shit! Like, when and how did that happen? Like, you don't really recognize that. Not saying we're numb to anything, like, performance-wise, but I think we're just in our own kind of space performing as, serving. We're serving to music and art, and I think that's what we're doing. We're just tools and vessels in this world doing what we're supposed to do, and when we clock out, it's just like, what the fuck just happened? And cuts and bruises or blood or anger. Like, I hurt my ankle 2 weeks ago. I'm still not walking straight. Like, you have no idea. I don't think we can't even premeditate the songs or the lengths of them. Even if we try to program things on a laptop or whatever, try to fit in or do whatever, but it just doesn't.
It just doesn't work. It's just not made for us. That's not a cast that we can. We're not in that.
We'll just go off and shut it off. Do like, fuck this. Just play. Just play.
That's the soul and soul punk, right?
Yeah.
That's literally it. Just YouTube Let Live at download the first time. Like literally I was in a fucking actual brawl with security and these motherfuckers didn't even notice. They started the song. I wasn't even on stage. I was literally downstage
Shit felt so
fighting
good.
and
felt so good.
Dude, they're rocking out. This is fucking great. And I'm fighting security. And I somehow made it for the first line. Then security gets on stage and they're still playing. And I'm like, you need to get the fuck off the stage. Anyway, just that's a testament to what they're saying.
Like if the state went a little too hard.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, and was flowing.
Love it.
3 Gs.
But we flow and we vibe. And I mean, even today we're jamming, even on acoustic guitars. Sometimes we have no idea what the hell we did. We just played. Some parts were good luck editing that. Or we just think we did 3 different versions of fucking song because that's just what felt good.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you though.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Yeah.
And I think again, like we're just so lucky to have that we feed off each other's vibrations, maybe because we grew up together or we spent so much time with one another. So I think sometimes without even looking at one another, saying words, I just think there's a certain vibration, there's energy that kind of, flows through the stage or whatever room we're in. And it's very easy to read what he wants, or what he's thinking, or what he's doing. And I think we all kind of, it's got this magnetic force kind of.
And we're also vibing off the crowd too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the crowd is just going so wild. Just you have to look.
We're good at pretending we know what the fuck we're doing just to please you. So it's pretty much that's why we get paid millions of dollars to do. So
clearly, obviously.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's a testament to real musicianship, though. The fact that you can be on the fly, that you're also connected. You're connected with the audience. I think that's a real band. So, real talk.
Best compliment.
Thank you. You're gonna get us canceled, Tori. Watch, motherfuckers be like, you hear what I said? They should fuck all these bands.
Well, then I'm the one getting canceled. I'm the one saying it. Leave them out of it.
Nah, I feel you though. I think that, like I said, I don't know if it gets in the edit, but I believe there's a level of spontaneity and free form that literally is fundamental and foundational to creativity. Like that's what we're missing, and I think that the banal and sterile nature of music due to actual, I think, overexcitement and overwhelm through technology and all of these sensational ideas that are placed upon us through like, what is it, over and over, what's the word I'm looking for, like constant unavoidable stimulation. I think that just seeing some sense of humanity is actually quite refreshing. So that's just really, I think, what we're trying to accomplish there.
Yeah. And something too that I noticed as far as like the connection in the audience and your live experience at Warped Tour in DC, because it had been the first time I'd seen you all in so long, is now there's sort of this generational transfer of mindset and music that's happening, because in 8 years, there's a whole new era of music fans. There's me who's been rocking out for 15 years plus, with, and someone next to me who's never heard of you before.
Yeah.
What is that like for you to see in the audience?
We talk about that all the time too.
Yeah.
You're hitting all the topics today.
Just the
So
things I
good.
want
Look
to
at
know.
you. Look at her go. She's ascending
And not
thriving.
and not even I'll bring up like a technical aspect of it. Even the experiences with this new front of house generations, or the productive management, or whatever of the stages, of not experiencing, rock and roll, the aesthetic of punk rock that's dangerous and not safe. And to us, we're just performing as we've always performed since we were kids, but watching these reactions, the things that we felt like we surpassed, in our musical careers, it's almost like starting over again. It's trying to get people to understand that sometimes rock and roll or punk doesn't have to be so safe. We're just performing. We're just doing, we mean no harm to anybody. We're doing what we do. But watching
except for the drums. Fuck those drums. Fucking, you can have it again.
Yeah, Tom.
And watching that, we just played a festival where, our sound got shut off in front of thousands of people because we climbed on or whatever. But it's just, as you just asked, there's a whole new generation. And again, like reflecting on the time that we spent, away from Let Live, our community, our movement. There's so much time has passed, and we have a whole new generation to kind of now you can't even say showcase to, or just the unfamiliarity.
Just demonstrate what it is,
demonstrate
right?
what we do, yeah. Because I don't think a lot of people are maybe doing that, or everything is so. God, I'm like stumbling on my words.
It's like curated, right? Like everything's fucking curated.
So restricted.
Predictable,
There's
safe.
so many
Yeah.
restrictions.
Yeah.
There's like the lack of the mystique, and there's so many restrictions and rules and things that are set on bands and music now. And why? Like why? Why is that?
We're living in an age where literal corporate giants are planning your surprise rollout. Like that to me is like a metaphor for what the time we're living in. Someone that is quite literally focused on the bottom line, quantifying your art and figuring out how to make money off of something that they may not even understand. You got to think of how that dilutes the magic, you know, that dilutes the essence of what this is. And so when you really think about it, we're allowing, an algorithm that is quite literally focused on obtaining the most amount of attention as a currency today to dictate what art is to us in our homes and in our hands. Like that's the most. And I don't even mean this as like an old head or blah, blah, blah. I just literally mean when you think about it and you break it down on a fundamental level, the magic is being lost with every click, with every swipe, with every stream that we expect or that we look at in order to see if that artist's song is worth our time, that 3 minutes. Like we look at the followers first, or we look at the stream count. Like that is insane. I'm not gonna say I remember, because I still do this, and I'm not that old, is there I will go and look for actually artists that have nothing in the way of followers and stream, because I want to know what someone is doing when they don't care about that. Like that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Our connection up and coming was with humans, like, you know, the grassroots approach or whatever. It was we wanted so badly to connect and share with and make friends with other humans. And now I feel like sometimes we need the connection with the algorithm first to get to the humans. Sometimes, just to have that authentic, real, pure connection with people. And it's kind of,
and we think we're more connected because the quantity of interactions is higher, but we've never been more disconnected.
Yeah, I think when we started, we didn't really have like social media like that.
No.
And then now it's, just stats and how many people listen to your song on Spotify and numbers, and it's just not natural for artists, I think.
Well, I think it's easy for us as older folks in the community, in the scene, to talk about this all day because we know what it's like to not have it. But what do you think, putting a positive spin on this, young people can learn from your perspective of music and creation and live experience? They've
globalized connection. Just connect. Just fucking connect. Find somebody that is like-minded and that wants to actually have a conversation that goes beyond the surface. I think that's what the most amazing thing has always been about this community in alternative music in particular, is we felt as though wherever we were in the world, that we were the only ones. And then we realized there was a world of us outside of where we were, right? Like run that one back, because I think that's actually a pretty good point. This whole thing, this misfit, quasi-esoteric culture, is a beautiful thing. And I think that you're able to access it more than ever today. And I think that when we go beyond ourselves, and again, if we can do something in that's an act of benevolence and even more altruistic and share, so there's connecting and then there's sharing, and not expect anything other than that moment and the opportunity, like I think that that's what we can do, and I think that's what we should do. I think that's what the benefits of these the advent of technology in art.
I have nothing to add to that, period. Well, let's talk a little more about your live experience, and even just your message as a band, because seeing you all play, I noticed that Good Morning America was in the set list. And jarring intro for anybody who's never heard it, you're not holding back on what that message and that song is. And as that intro plays, you say, Jason, that the band is inherently political. There are moments where it's deeply personal and feels like a diary entry, and there's moments where you're kind of starting a revolution. Thinking about that and your messaging as a band from the time you've released the music to now, which songs do you think have withstood the test of time the strongest or have become more important now than ever?
I mean, I think you really did guide that question properly. I think Good Morning America is a great example. I mean, I remember, and this is something I think that we can discuss, and it will be challenging for some and confrontational and perhaps controversial, but I think that when we first released that song, it was not as du jour or hot of a topic in the alternative scene, where I believe it should have been. Mm-hmm. I believe that the alternative scene is somewhere you express ideas, especially progressive ones. And I remember when I would say things, and this is 2015, 16, when I would utter the words Black Lives Matter, and the type of response I would get was confounding, especially in the spaces that we exist. And that was then. And then we had our moments, and the world was broadcasted to the horrors and atrocities of the mistreatment of people of color, in particular Black people in America. And so as we go along and we see that, and we can't look away and we can't avoid it anymore, I think that song, it serves as a testimony to something that is not new. And not only is it not new, but it continues, and it's not getting better. And I really mean that. I know that people want to say, they bring up all these false premise stats, and I'm happy to argue with those people. Excuse me. I'm happy to engage in discourse with people because I've done my studying too. But beyond that, the empirical evidence, I've experienced it. Like, that's just me and my family, me and my friends. Like, I've experienced it. So if anybody trying to rob me or anybody of this experience is extremely arrogant. And also it alleviates you of your responsibility, right? Your responsibility to at least acknowledge that these things are happening, and you may in fact be part of a system that is designed to how do I say this nicely? To relegate others, and in the name of power and status. And post Appomattox, we found a way to designate that to race, because race is a construct. And I'm not here to give you a TED Talk, nor am I here to give you a history lesson, but these are just, again, the facts. And I think that song, all the way back to the beginning of your question, I think that song is one example of what people were calling like a premonition, and I was just saying it's history. It's not I didn't guess this. It's been happening forever. And so I think that now we're in a position to where we can publicly display these things. And since we can, going back to earlier questions, the advent of technology and at the rate at which we are receiving and exchanging information, there are people and systems in an apparatus that wants to make sure that we don't get information that pushes us against the apparatus and its agenda and its desires and what it's built for. I guess what I'm trying to say is we are all here. You, us, you, despite whatever color you are, to be honest. I think the greatest war is class war. I think that's the realest thing I can say right now. And we are in a position where we don't even see that we're crabs in a bucket, all pulling at each other, trying to get out of this thing, when in reality, we're actually pretty much all in the same position. And they have found a way to designate hate, vitriol, and discredit our own experiences in the name of capital. So again, this is a longer conversation for another time, but I just really encourage people to understand that when I say something and it makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm not saying it about you. I'm saying it with you and to you, and I hope that we can have that discussion.
Yeah. The solution lies in being challenged to think about it. And it's interesting. I don't know why it's echoing in my mind. It's so bizarre when you said crabs in a bucket. I think about a line at one of the end of the songs. You say, it's not us versus them. It's just us. Yeah. Like, it's just us.
Yeah. And I really believe that. I really believe that. And I hope that others do too. And I said this a few years ago, and everyone around me was like, that sounds crazy. But I believe All right, there's a little backstory. I believe myself to be radicalized at a fairly young age, early teens. I had a teacher that taught me alternative history and the real history of our country, but all throughout the world, geopolitics, etc. And the part that race plays in a lot of this, right? And class. And I became quite militant over time, and I became quite stern and hard-lined about a lot of things. And what I realized is I was just foreclosing any opportunity or accessibility for new soldiers. And in the war, that war that we're fighting, I find to be a metaphysical one at this point versus a physical one. And even, to be honest, perhaps beyond policy and politics, foundationally, I think that this is something much greater. So now I can speak to anyone who feels really strongly about their position, because I used to as well, and say, there's another perspective, and there very well could be another way. And I'm here to open that forum for discussion. And I am also here to serve as an example of someone who was very, very categorical in what I believed, and that's able to change. And I've been wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think this in a nutshell is why I've always been such a loud, proud supporter of Let Live, is because it's not just a band, it's a conversation, it's a community, it's that safe space for discussion. And through your music, I think people are able to learn a lot about themselves and about the world if they open their ears to it. And so I think about your impact in these moments of conversation. And what do you think are some action items that people who want to live the Let Live memo can take in their daily life?
Live as locally as possible. Live as locally as possible. I mean, the most locally you can live and exist is within yourself. Understand yourself as best you can, and once you understand yourself, you will see that you are multifaceted, you are flawed, you are beautiful, you have pain, you have joy. And once you understand all of those facets, the multidimensionality of that all will then offer you opportunities to see others in the same way. Perhaps this facet isn't like yours, but that one is. Perhaps this one looks a little different, but this one looks a little more similar. Like, I really believe that living locally is the most important thing we can do. And then what you can do is then you can go and look at your household, and then you can look at your block, and then you can look at your city, and then you can go into the world. And when you're ready, come with me for a existential ceremony into the idea of the universe. But seriously, as locally as you can live, I think, is within yourself. And I think once you see that, you'll see indiscretion. You'll see these things that actually you have hidden, and that perhaps you see in others that are on display that you don't like about yourself that they're displaying. And maybe that's the method of connection you find. If it's not ideologically, politically, religiously, sexuality, gender, all these things, live locally. That's what I think.
All starts with ourselves. Yeah. And even just thinking about your music and kind of looping back to the original question of like the way your message has both aged and not, how does that feel for you that so much time has passed and yet fortunately and unfortunately your messages are still so relevant right now?
Fuck, I haven't even thought about that, Tori. That's a good question. Yeah, it's a great question. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to think about this. I hate that I have to sing these songs and that they are seen as only that. That's it. I hate that I have to sing these songs and pen these lyrics as an abstract piece of the truth. I hate that. I hate that. And I love that I'm able to be asked this question by you, that I'm able to join in sonic community with others, people that want to listen. But the point I want to make is that you asked me this question. We're not asking enough questions. I hate that it's become so abstract. And I also hate that that's okay. I hate that it's okay to make art that's a lie. You know, I hate that it's okay to tell people that their experiences are monetized, and I hate that we can't connect on a level that where we can have discussions, where we have differing opinions and then arrive at understanding humanity. Like, I hate all of that. And I love that you asked me that. And I think that you and people like yourself are the answer to all the things I lament, you know? So I love this. I'll end it with that. I love this. I do love this. And I think we need more of this.
I guess it's taking the music and turning it into action and conversation and connection, not just leaving it in your Spotify library.
Totally. And not for everyone, right? Not every artist has to do that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying me. This is how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think that definitely all of his points as well, it coexists just in life in general, even just conversations I have with people as well, even the reflection of our backdrop right now on the tour of love and just the connection. I think that there's so much us as humans now in this era of life or existence that lacks substance. I think like the limitation on friendships and relationships and love affairs and music and art and just values of life in general. I think there's not enough time not enough time invested in those connections you have with people that you meet. It's hard to get somebody to look at you, you know, walking parallel with you on a sidewalk to say hello to you with a smile on their face. Like, it's weird for people to have that connection or just to show love to another human or ask somebody how their day is. Like, I always make it a point to look at people around me now. I was like, are you happy today? Like, I'll look at Jay nearly every day on tour. Like, are you happy today? Even it's fucking annoying to him. He's like, shut up, why you're asking me such a stupid. But it's important to me, even, you know, with the disconnect of Let Live for so many years, of able to like identify myself and learn about myself and love myself and be able to be a better son, a better friend, a better bandmate, a better artist, just a better human in general, even serving to everybody around me without having this request for any sort of repayment of things, just being happy and fulfilled, serving to others and loving and showing love. And I think with Let Live, it's creating that unity within our community and bringing people together to kind of, you know, bring awareness that, you know, being humans now I personally feel like there's a lack of substance. Like, even with swipe culture or playlists or things like that, like, it's not about creating the best songs per se, you know. Even in the mix world, it's who does it the loudest. What's the loudest mix? Fuck the dynamic. Like, who does it bigger and louder? And then how do we get on a playlist so I can take a photo and show my mom that I have 100,000 streams within a week, and then 2 weeks later they're gone, but they're flooding the airwaves and so much more distraction and just saturating every aspect of life in general. And again, it's friendships and families and things, because we all kind of feel, sometimes I personally feel like we're all replaceable in a sense. Like, if I'm not a good lover to you or something like that, you know, you don't want to care for me enough to argue or fight it out and say things that'll make each other feel uncomfortable, which will benefit and help in like the investment we have emotionally. Rather, I'm not going to waste my time. This is stupid. You leave. I'll pick up a phone, download an app, swipe, and I'll have somebody else in my room the next day. And sometimes that kind of, it's just love. I feel like there's not enough love in the world. And as badass or hard or punk or dirty or whatever grungy as we're soft and sensitive beings as well. And I don't think we're not embarrassed to kind of show that. And I'm not afraid to cry in front of somebody that I love or care for, you know. And I think that the essence of showing that is missing, and it's gone. It's always the faster, simpler route to obtain the things we want selfishly, without recognizing the fact that you're not actually fulfilling the things that you probably need as a human that'll make your life much more meaningful in the end. And you're just creating this vast amounts of numbness, and that could be politically, religiously, love, friendship, jobs, anything. It's too fast. There's just no fucking substance to a lot of things, I feel anyway. But with Let Live, we just hope to diminish that and bring unity and bring love into our world and make sure that there is a connection there and everybody's caring for one another in any way. giving somebody a French fry who maybe doesn't even, it means something so stupid, you know? It can mean so much to that person sometimes. And sometimes I want someone to ask me if I'm happy or how I'm doing. People don't do that. People don't care. It's, how do I use you to get the things I want? And like, thank you, I'm your friend, but you're not really we always made it a point that if the band were ever to come back or whatever it is that we're doing right now, I think the most important thing for us even is that like there's friendship and brotherhood here. Even if there's no music, I don't ever want you to go away again. Like I never want to lose this. That's important. And I think we create this direct reflection that we're able to distribute to our audience and people who want to be a part of it. And we're just here to share. So.
Yeah. And even though there are a lot of things that were just said that are heavy, that make me feel sort of, oh my gosh, are we hopeless? There's also a power in everything you've said, because it has really inspired me to want to go back into the world a little more connected than I started in this conversation. And I hope that everyone takes away the same thing, that reminder of the power of starting with yourself, and the courage and strength and your vulnerability to even say that. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
For sharing.
It's just creating awareness, and it could be extremely challenging, as Jason said. Everything that we are exposed to right now shows us otherwise. So it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to show or reflect my thoughts, the things that I grew up believing in, to like my little cousins or things like that have not. They had iPads in their hands when they were 2 years old. Like they don't understand the reality of what I try to portray towards them. But we do believe that that's real, and we would like to share and expose that. And well, the moral of the story is you all are about to be on a pretty huge tour of the U.S. We've been on huge tours.
Well, it's continuing. And what an opportunity to get in the crowd, connect with the music, shake someone's hand, give somebody a hug at the show, connect with each other. It starts with the community. It starts with love, LL.of, to make sure it's spelled correctly. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
For your music and for your message, and keep doing what you're doing. That's all I got.
You as well.
What you're doing.
Thank you.
Idobi Warped Radio.